All right, hey everybody, welcome back to another interview. Today with me I have a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Mrs.West-Royal. I teach science here at PTIS.
Nice. So what classes specifically do you teach?
I mostly teach bio, and then some of the upper level classes I teach are honors physics and AP biology.
Nice. So like if I was a student, like how would these classes like prepare me for my future?
Well, I like to think science classes aren't just about going in and doing experiments. It's all about habits of mind. It helps to aid in critical thinking, problem solving. It's where all the innovation in the world comes from. It's directly related to tech, and it's all about solving real world problems. I mean, science was created for a reason, to solve problems. So in that aspect, it helps prepare any student really for any job that they're going to do or anything they're going to do, even outside of in college. And I believe that it helps individuals be better citizens because you can be more discerning of the information that comes your way.
Yeah. So you think just about every student should take at least one science class?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, and you have to. It's a requirement.
Yeah.
You got to have a P science, which is physical science or physics. And then I believe Floyd County Schools, you got to have biology to graduate. But let's talk about Hope Rigor for a second. So you have to, if you want the Hope Scholarship, you have to have 4 rigor classes. Our department offers the most rigor classes. Honors Physics is a rigor class. AP Biology is a rigor class. We have forensics, zoology, and chemistry. All those would count towards your Hope credits, which helps you pay for college. The more science classes you take, the better the chances are that you're going to get those Hope Rigor requirements met.
Okay. So it prepares you a lot for your future. It's got a lot of
absolutely, yes, absolutely. And colleges like to see that too because they like to see that you've challenged yourself. With those classes, especially if you have any AP class on there. In physics, it's intimidating to a lot of people, but it's very accessible. And colleges like to see that. They want to see at least the chemistry and then usually one other upper level science.
Yeah. All right, nice. So I know that like the average student isn't super forward thinking, myself included.
Yeah.
So So what are some like fun extracurriculars or like not extracurriculars but like events or field trips, project stuff that your classes might have?
So in AP biology, especially at the beginning of the year, I feel like we do a lot of labs, a lot more hands-on stuff, more so than in biology. Usually it's accommodated by the fact that there's usually smaller class sizes, and AP actually requires so many labs to be given, about 20% of the class time to be labs. So we did a ton of labs, tons of hands-on stuff. And the thing about labs is if you're going to go on, most students have to take at least a couple of sciences in college with labs. And if you have never really done some of that stuff, you're going to be completely lost when you go to college. So it can help prepare you there. Let's see, we went on 2 field trips for AP Biology last year. We went to the Tennessee Aquarium and the IMAX. And we had there was an assignment with it, but I felt like the assignment was just to really help you understand the diversity of life and how it came to be. And then we went to Georgia Highlands and we did some field study out there. We learned how to identify some birds. We did a bird count to do a diversity index. And then they got to kind of mess around. They found some string by the lake and attempted to go fishing with one hook and a string. And while they were out there messing around, something really cool happened. A bald eagle actually flew in over them, which is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see a bald eagle that up close. And we got to see some birds that were migrating through that you don't normally get to see. And it was just nice to get the kids out in nature because that's what it's about. It's about learning about all of these processes that come together to give us life and how amazing all of the life on Earth is. And it teaches, when you're out there in nature, you tend to gain more of a respect for it as well.
You're a part of it too.
Yes, exactly. We're absolutely a part of it.
Well, that sounds like a great time. I'd love to see a bald eagle.
Yes, it was cool. And then in physics, we do at least one lab every unit at least. Physics is learning the language of the universe, which is kind of powerful when you think about it that way. Some of the labs we do, we're actually deriving or coming up with these equations that the masters came up with. And that sounds hard, but really it was simple because you got to think hundreds of years ago, they didn't have this sophisticated scientific equipment. They had just bare bones, pen and paper and rulers, you know. So we did that. This week, we got to just have fun. We're learning about centripetal force. And so they got to put some weights and spin a rope around with a rubber stopper and almost knock each other out. So, they had a lot of fun with that. And it's really, we learned about, I always ask them to do graphing in Sheets or Excel. Because if you don't know how to do that when you go into college, I guarantee you're going to have to do that. And that's a necessary skill about learning to go in and create the graphs and manipulate the graphs and the data.
Yeah.
So that's, not only are we having fun, but we're actually learning technical skills as well. And I always I'm going to rip off the guy from Mythbusters right now, but it's about messing around. Science is messing around with writing it down.
Yeah.
So we get to mess around, but we also have to write it down. But I feel like we have a ton of fun in both of those classes. They're two of the most fun classes that I've ever taught. I feel like it ends up feeling kind of like a family in there. Usually we have maybe 15 kids. And with that, you also get more individual attention from me as well. I have more time to focus on you because we don't have 30 kids in there. So.
Yeah, sounds nice. So if I was if you're an underclassman or something, so about when or where would you like to sign up for these classes next year?
So we just went through registration.
Okay.
But I believe that if memory serves, they're saying any changes need to be finalized by I think April. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Because they do have to start getting the master schedule ready, and we have to know what we're teaching. So if that's a change that they want to make, to be able to take any honors or AP or DE class, you do have to get teacher approval. Just some requirements. I don't want to exclude any kid, but if you've got good attendance, if you know how to work hard, and you're not afraid of a challenge, I would say come join. One of the things that I will say about AP biology and physics is I have seen kids achieve more than they ever thought that they could achieve in those classes.
Yeah.
I know I had kids in AP biology last year who didn't think they were going to be able to pass that exam, and they passed the exam.
Yeah.
They showed up and they put in the work, and you learn really what you're made of in those classes, and the confidence that I have seen students gain in their academic abilities by pushing through and having the grit and the tenacity and the resilience, and all of that gets built in these challenging classes. When you're really willing to put in the work, the payoff is huge.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. So if you're any students, underclassmen, try and sign up for those classes. They sound like a great time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nice.